Uh, every month we do this rip from the headlines piece, which is kind of becoming the centerpiece of what we do. I think it's sort of one of the roles I think this group plays is to take current events. And when I say the group, I mean all of us that are on this call right now, the 50 of us or so that are on it. You know, it I think is missing like a monthly news digest that kind of takes a look at what's happening in the industry. We're going to miss stuff. We're going to try to call out the biggest things, but we're certainly going to miss stuff that's going on out there. That's why this is an open forum. So just jump in anytime. Start raising your hands. We'll have some open discussion at the end. We've got some questions for you guys. We want to really know what's happening out there with AI tools and what people are doing. And we'll have try to leave 15 to 20 minutes at the end today so we can blue sky what you guys are doing with AI. But before we do that, let's get into our headlines. And, we'll break these down in detail and have you guys comment on them in detail. But the overarching theme continues to be, AI and AI's impact on jobs and jobs. And the overarching kind of like theme that we're certainly, kind of swimming in is the reconstruction of work, I'll call it. We're just kind of reconstituting not just how we track work or how we procure work or how we procure people, but the work itself is being rethought through. And these headlines kind of, I think, are interesting ones, and they all relate right now to the impact of AI on work. And Frank, I'm not sure if you want to have a preliminary comment on this, and we would dive into each one of these in detail.
Yeah, no, there's a huge amount of news, and I definitely have a new one to add to the list as well. I'm just amazed at so much going on, and that there isn't more churn and people stepping up and talking about some of this. I mean, I think we should just dive in for sure, and definitely got to jump right into the Workday piece. We've been talking about this since last September, and yes, it's up to a class status. They're looking for more plaintiffs. And then this, I guess I was going to say a weird fact-finding mission, but Workday has to share who's actually enabled this. Yeah. And then the question is it now just Workday on the hook? Is it Workday and the clients that have enabled it on the hook? But these are things that, the TA leaders need to start thinking about with the contracts. And what you're looking at, right, David?
100%. I mean, we've all seen this jobs report. This is fun on every level, not and closes it ended badly for somebody, which is interesting. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the data itself, it kind of like is one of those sins. Like, duh, we've been calling out for months that this data was terrible. We don't think the data has had integrity for years. And now, I don't know if it's a kill the messenger situation here. We'll talk about that in a minute. However, this doesn't surprise me in the least, Frank. I'm waiting for this to go negative. I'm thinking any month now, they talk about adding 73,000. I'm a little stunned we added any jobs.
Yeah, well, and the difference that it isn't being highlighted is white collar and blue collar. I mean, we know there's a lot of blue collar openings, and it's going to be harder and harder to fill some of those people. We just don't have enough bodies that are going to take on some of those roles. Yet the white collar roles, we still see organizations cutting those or offshoring those, moving things around. That activity is there. It will catch up, David. No matter how people want to play the numbers and make them sound rosier than they might be, it will catch up, and someone's got to true the numbers up.
I think we need to rely on ourselves. I mean, we've known for a long time that 4.1% unemployment didn't represent us, certainly didn't represent white collar in general. And so I think there's been some distrust of this data as well. But this data, whatever, if it's 73,000, it gets revised to 0 next month, which wouldn't surprise me at all. No one here is going to be surprised.
Right.
We're not adding jobs. I mean, the data, just put the data and the collection and the politics, put all that aside. Just look at this through a common sense lens. We're not adding white collar jobs. I mean, this just amplifies the weirdness of this. I mean, and the miss. This was a miss in forecasting. I don't think it's a blame game, but we were forecasting a very different outcome than we got. And that may have caused the hissy fit. I don't know. It may have cost that person her job. I don't know. could be just pure politics. It doesn't matter. But as a matter of fact, we're not good at this. We're just not. And it's hard to, I think it's hard to forecast business when you're not good at forecasting basic BLS, like what's the state of the economy. And we've got to, I don't care who's in charge, we've got to restore confidence in some set of metrics so that companies can capitalize properly, go to market properly, hire aggressively when they should. And they should be hiring right now, in my opinion, Frank.
Yeah. Well, in ADP, they have their numbers as well. And, they're not going to fire ADP's leadership, but that's all of a sudden not getting, any press right now.
All right. Workday. Okay. Let's tee this up. And I'm hoping people have some thoughts on this. Simon, of course, you as well. This just came out, I think late last, well, 31st, there it is. And now you're seeing LinkedIn get lit up on this. It's interesting. We were on this last October. It was the first thing we were on. In fact, it was one of the reasons for our first call with Britt Marie. And we probably got to have her back, Frank, if she can do it.
Yep.
And the things she predicted and called out are happening. What's going to happen here, guys, is I don't see any other way. They should have settled this case, man. Someone should have settled this puppy, because now the horses are out of the barn. And in discovery or deposition, this judge wants it all. They want names. They want who the clients are. They want to know who's used. I think any instance of Workday ATS, and that's at least 5,000 or 4,000 minimum. There's only about 100 clients that actually used higher scored, but that doesn't mean anything, because this case is way out of control in the plaintiff's favor, in that it sounds like the judge wants full discovery against all instances of AI that are embedded anywhere in the Workday system. And if that's the case, that's big problems. And if you recall, Frank, Britt Marie predicted that at some point Workday will have to include their clients in this conversation to protect their interests. This judge just gave them license to do that. And I don't know where this ends. Is the next request, I guess it's going to have to be the names of the people.
Yeah, and who's involved, and then you get the whole candidate list, and then not only the candidate list, but who was interviewed.
I thought that was private, man. I thought that was private. When I applied for a job on Workday, this is going to spiral out of control. Shweta, go ahead.
Think about the questions we could ask Britt Marie. That if the company, ABC company, signs a deal with Workday, and in that is, hey, we will remain confidential, whatever, do not use my info, all that stuff. And now you have a judge saying, hey, I need to know the list.
And it's going to have to be made public because it's public record in the court
How do you
case.
balance it? That would be a great question for Britt Marie. Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be balance. They're going to have to provide this stuff by August 20th. And once they have that, at least those clients, they'll go in the public record in the case, won't they?
They have to. And then, think about the TA leader, which in many cases, they weren't the deciding factor on going to Workday, right? It was, CIO or CHRO saying, by the way, TA, you're going to go use this product because we're buying, one-stop shopping here, one legal agreement, one throat to choke. TA leader is going to be in the center, hit blindsided with this for sure. So I'm hoping everyone on this call staying in the loop on this.
If you're in TA, you're on the hook. So you might as well be on the hook.
Be on the front end.
You're on the front end anyway, and you might get named. So be the expert. We've always preached that, Frank, right? All the way back. Be an expert, be a business expert.
And lead it. This is what we started in our first call back in September. Whatever these situations are, vendors, even if it's being pushed from high above, this is that opportunity for TA to step in, own it, lead it, not just let this stuff happen to you. Because as you're going through that leading process, you can say, hey, we need to audit this. We need to review this. We need to document that, especially documenting those processes, because it's going to come back to TA at some point.
All right. So this is something that, is near and dear to everyone's heart. And it's also what Jeff is talking about at Boom Ban is the problem we're all encountering, getting flooded with AI generated resumes and applications that are greeted by an AI generated job description and filtering system. And the volume of transactions, 11,000 applications per minute. I'm sure you guys have seen this. This is the fake applications.
Roles or high traveling consulting roles. If I'm in another country or another, region of the world, I may legitimately be applying. So to block people out by geography or whatever, there's all kinds of scenarios that we need to just document. We need to map processes. We need to bulletproof. And just throwing spaghetti at the wall is what we've been seeing lately, and we need to get past that. Did everyone see the news about SAP acquiring Smart Recruiters for SAP SuccessFactors? So I'll be really interested in this because SAP had a recruiting product, SuccessFactors had it. Now you have the Smart Recruiters coming in. So are they buying it to jump into the SMB space? Are they buying it for intellectual property? What's actually going on? I'm guessing more into the SMB space. But is that going to be a play for the other big guys as well? So I wanted to make sure everyone's aware of that.